Hey, beautiful people, and welcome back to another soul nourishing, truth telling episode of Fierce Over 40, the podcast where we embrace the beauty, boldness, and occasional chaos of life after 40. I'm your host, T. Rochelle, and today we're getting into a topic that I know every single one of us can relate to being perfectly imperfect over 40. Now, if you're over 40 still thinking, wait, wasn't I supposed to have it all figured out by now? Then, first of all, welcome to the club. Second, this episode is your permission slip to breathe, to laugh, to cry, and to let go of the pressures to be flawless. Because here's the truth, you're not broken, you're becoming. In segment one, we're going to address the myth of having it all together. Because, sis, I think this is something that trips all of us up. And I think it develops from our environment, from the things that we've witnessed. We, as we're younger, we look at our parents and we look at how they operate, how they communicate, the friends that they kept, um, how they handled business, the decisions they made, the things that they acquired. And we develop these, we try to pattern our lives after that, plus gain more. And so we develop these roadmaps to how we're going to acquire those things. And we go off into our corners and say, by 40, I need to be married, have 2.5 kids, live in my dream house, work in my dream job with perfect credit, a banging body. And when we open our mouths, we expect wisdom to ooze and pour out of us as if we're speaking like Felicia Rashad, somebody. And I say Felicia Rashad because that is my girl. Okay. But in reality, for most of us, 40 looks like navigating career pivots, dating after divorce, raising teens while managing aging parents, and discovering stretch marks in places that we didn't know stretch marks were supposed to be. And somehow we're still wondering if we're enough, if we're doing it right. But here's the thing, we were sold a fantasy. Society told us that 40 was some kind of deadline instead of a new beginning. But life doesn't operate on a calendar. It's not a linear path. It's a zigzag of wins, setbacks, middle messes, and unexpected detours. And guess what? That's not failure. That's growth. That's living. And if you've ever looked around and thought, everyone has it together except me, please know they don't. Behind every curated social media post is someone questioning if they're enough. So let's rewrite the narrative. You don't have to have it all together. You just got to keep showing up. Now let's talk about the trap called perfection. It's a trap, sis. Perfection is a trap because I say that it's a trap because it hinders us. It stunts our growth. It hinders our relationships. It causes us to have a tainted view of the world and the people in it. And we start to, basically assume malice intent when nobody's even saying anything to us. Okay? It's us. It's our the voices in our heads. So basically, what perfectionism does, it robs us. It robs us of our joy, our confidence, and our creativity. It convinces us that if we could just work a little harder, look a little better, or try more, we'll finally be enough. But sis, you are enough. Perfectionism is a trap because the goalpost continues to move. It's not achievable. And even when we win, it whispers in the back of our heads that, oh, you could have done better. And it shows up in subtle ways, like not applying for roles because you don't meet 100% of the qualifications, or not speaking up in areas where you are confident and you know your stuff, not speaking up in a meeting because you're afraid to sound stupid, or rehearsing in your head what you're going to say before a question is asked, or editing selfies um, 10 times before you make a post, or not post at all, or not taking a chance and starting that podcast because you're afraid of how you'll be viewed by the people around you. But here's the thing: perfection is a mask that we wear just to avoid being judged. But at this stage in our lives, masks are heavy and exhausting. And honestly, we've earned the right to take them off. Over 40 is where we unlearn the belief that we need to be flawless in order to be valued. This is the season where we embrace the scars, the softness, the sags, and the strengths, where we choose real over perfect every time. So show yourself some compassion. I mean, would you ever speak to your best friend the way you speak to yourself? Would you call her lazy for needing to rest, or weak for feeling sad, or showing vulnerability, or a failure for starting over? No, you wouldn't. And no people who call themselves best friends would. If so, you need to reevaluate the relationship. But my question is, why do we do that to ourselves? Self compassion isn't some self help fluff term, it's actually vital, especially now when life is bringing big transitions like divorce, career changes, health shifts, children going off to college, and we us becoming empty nesters. All of these rough things, all of these things that could, have an effect on our mental health, or, or how we feel about ourselves. So we would need those softness, the kindness, the compassion to counter those times. So what does that look like? What does having self compassion look like? Look, it means saying I'm doing the best that I can today, and that's enough. It means saying it's okay to not have all the answers, or I can love myself through the messy parts. When we drop the shame and speak kindly to ourselves, we open up a space for growth, healing, and freedom. Being perfectly imperfect means celebrating progress, not perfection. It means loving who you are while becoming who you are meant to be. And we're going somewhere, sis. Let's go. So let's ground this conversation in real stories. Because theory is cute, but truth lives in experience. Here are a few real life, perfectly imperfect moments from women I know and admire. My friend Janelle, she's 47. She was laid off from her job of 15 years. And after the panic wore off, she leaned into her passion for wellness and started teaching yoga at a local studio. 2 years later, she's building a community of women who call her the Peace Plug. It started with a breakdown, but it led to a breakthrough. Or my friend Lisa, she's 43. She's a single mom of two, navigating co parenting and healing from a toxic relationship. She's still trying to figure it out, but her kids see her showing up every day. And when I asked, how she feels, she said, how she feels about it. She says that they don't need a perfect mom, they need a present one. So the fact that she's showing up every day is admirable. Or Monique, 45. Um, she left her corporate career to launch a candle line. I tried it. um, and she basically burned through her savings before landing her first wholesale client. Now she has 3 boutiques, ships nationwide, and she said that if she had waited until everything was perfect, she would have never started. These women are not perfect. They're real. They're just raw and resilient. And that is what makes them powerful. And that's what makes you powerful too. So here's a truth I want you to carry with you today. You're allowed to be a work in progress and still be worthy of joy, love, rest, and success. You're not late. You're right on time for your own unique journey. You're not too old. You're seasoned. Seasoned like a soul food dish, rich, flavorful, and unforgettable. You're not a mess. You are magic in motion. Being perfectly imperfect means owning your story, even the messy chapters. It means showing up in the world as you are, not as who you think you should be. So take off the mask, drop the pressure, let go of the myth, and remember, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just are. If this episode spoke to your heart, put a smile on your face, or brought insight to your situation, share with your favorite over 40 friend, your sister circle, or that coworker who needs a reminder that she's not alone. And if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and leave a review. It helps this podcast to grow and keep these conversations going strong. Thank you for showing up just as you are. I'm your host, T. Rochelle, and until next time, stay flawed, stay fabulous, and keep shining in your perfectly imperfect glory.